Wednesday morning to you, Craig Melvin here. We're following some major news just into our newsroom. NBC News has learned that President Biden and Ukraine's President Zelenskyy are set to speak this hour. They were scheduled to start a call with each other roughly 15 minutes ago. We're watching for any news or readout from that call, and we'll bring it to you just as soon as we get it. And the call itself comes as we're seeing bombshell new reporting from our White House team on just how Vladimir Putin has become just so isolated, it would seem. A U.S. official telling NBC's chief White House correspondent, Peter Alexander, Putin's own advisors are misinforming him on Russia's performance because they are too afraid to tell him the truth. Peter's going to join us in just a few moments with more on that reporting as UK officials report that Russian units are pulling back to Belarus and Russia after taking heavy losses. Questions of performance aside, new Maxar satellite images paint a grim picture of the reality on the ground. Take a look at this. On the left side of your screen, a satellite image of Mariupol from before this war. On the right side of your screen, an image from what is left of Mariupol, showing a residential area there, and you can just see the brutal damage. Meanwhile, in Poland, the humanitarian crisis is now more urgent than ever before. The United Nations now says more than 4 million refugees have fled Ukraine, and that includes 2 million children. That's according to UNICEF. One Polish CEO tells NBC News he sold his stake in his business to open a new company just to help Ukrainian refugees. He says his grandfather's experience during World War II is a driving motivation.
My grandfather was in 7 Nazi camps, and I'm kind of continuing with his number from Auschwitz, and in the house, and actually in the room that I was brought up, we were hiding Jews.
Let's get right to our team. The aforementioned chief White House correspondent Peter Alexander there at his post. Our senior international correspondent Keir Simmons remains in Istanbul, Turkey, where Ukraine and Russia met on Tuesday for peace talks. So, Peter, let's get right to this incredible reporting in a moment. But first, let's start with this phone call between President Biden and President Zelenskyy, announced just minutes before it was set to start. What do we know about the phone call so far?
Yeah, Craig, I'm checking my phone as I speak to you right now to see if anybody inside the White House is confirming that that call has begun. It was scheduled to start at 10:45 Eastern this morning. It's now after 11. I'm told it hasn't yet begun, but this is a call that the White House just told us would be taking place between President Biden and President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, of course, Ukraine's president, where they will be discussing the situation in that country and the U.S.'s continued support in the terms of humanitarian aid and military supplies to Ukraine. Obviously, this follows a conversation that President Biden had 24 hours ago with the leaders of what's described as the Quint, some of America's closest European allies, the German Chancellor, the Prime Ministers of the United Kingdom, as well as the French President and the Italian Prime Minister as well, taking part in that conversation as they detail this relationship and the continued effort to try to support Ukraine after Russia had said, in effect, that it was going to be steering away from Kyiv, that it was going to focus only on the southern and eastern portions of that country, obviously trying to detail a sort of pivot in strategy as they have run into some real brick walls in the form of the Ukrainian resistance there. We'll let you know, Craig, as soon as we hear from inside the White House more about what has taken place and what was said in the course of this call.
Let's turn to your reporting now. This U.S. official that you heard from also says there is now, quote, persistent tension between Vladimir Putin and the Ministry of Defense. What more can you tell us about that?
So this is some declassified intelligence that is being provided by U.S. officials to NBC News. And I want to walk you through what I'm being told. But in short, what it does is it sort of details what the U.S. says is a stream or is a sort of an end of the stream of information to Vladimir Putin, that he is not getting accurate information about what's happening on the ground, the failings of his military, the morale challenges that they are dealing with right now, nor is he learning about the situation in terms of the economy being crippled by those foreign sanctions. So this official tells me Putin didn't even know his military was using and losing conscripts in Ukraine, showing a clear breakdown in the flow of accurate information to the Russian president. They add, we believe that Putin is being misinformed by his advisors about how badly the Russian military is performing and how the Russian economy is being crippled by sanctions because, and this is a quote, his senior advisors are too afraid to tell him the truth. This official adds, we have information